Ladies and gentlemen, fight fans all around the world, let's talk some boxing. So we're going to talk about movement in the boxing ring. Movement in the boxing ring. Now, we talked about a number of different factors. We talked about pivoting. We talked about positioning ourselves. We talked about stance. We talked about timing, right? In boxing. Now, there are different drills that you can do to help with your movement in boxing, in the boxing ring. If you look at some of these pictures here, they show you a couple different exercises that you can use to help with your movement in boxing. One of the things you want to do is you want to keep proper distance between your feet, so the base of your feet. So here's one exercise that you see here that you can do. In terms of movement, in terms of sideways movement and pivoting, here you see the boxer, he's pivoting on his front foot to move across, and then he's going to pivot on his back foot, okay? And so he's moving side to side, and he's able to move side on. Of course, this is in a real situation. We talked about this. This was Andre Ward. Here are some other exercises where the boxer is actually moving on his toes around the ring, and he's moving around these different obstacles, should I say, to maintain distance. Again, here it is. You see the cones here. They're different cones. Of course, skipping helps with footwork drills as well as helps coordination, rhythm, timing. Here, this person, he is doing a number of punches as he's moving. And again, this helps to maintain a certain distance. So a certain foot positioning at a certain distance and a certain stance. Because everything in boxing has to do with the right positioning. You want to get into the right position where your opponent can't counter you, but you can counter your opponent. And there are, of course, a number of different other exercises. Of course, this is sparring. This is pad work, and again, defense is important. So here, the person who is doing the pad work, they're the ones throwing the shot, because in pad work you actually have shots coming back at you, and you're practicing against those shots. Of course, to really find out if your movement is very good, you go to the ultimate test, which is sparring. And in sparring, you're able to determine how your balance is, how your technique is, and how your positioning is in fighting. Okay, and this goes for most of the martial arts sports like kickboxing, boxing, MMA, etc. Balance is key. Here you can see the center of balance here, and here is the feet need to be wide enough, and they also need to be long enough. Okay. Here again, here you see a big role in balance. Here you see this boxer, and what he's doing is he's actually producing an uppercut on this guy's face. But to do that, he has to lean into his back foot, coming off the front foot. Notice this incredible balance here. He's leaning at an angle. The other boxer is at a T angle to him, so he's easily a target. His feet are widespread apart. He's also he's squared up. So these are some of the reasons why, again, this guy probably getting leverage on this guy may knock him down. It's one thing to knock out your opponent, it's another thing to knock them down. Okay, so how you move around inside of a ring, it's pretty critical. It determines how you're able to have good balance and how you're able to get into the right positions. So movement is key in boxing. Here you see two boxers. Remember, it's not just the foot movement that is important, it's also the hand movement. So you see two boxers. This guy is coming in on this guy, and this guy is using his jab to keep this guy off. Now this guy, he can slip the jab, but to do that again calls for balance, right? To be able to slip the jab. So his footwork is important. His distance is important. His positioning is important, and so on. Alright, so there's a lot to boxing. Of course. Here again, you're seeing this guy. He's countering his opponent. He's countering his opponent. It's probably dropping him here. You can see the guy's balance is a little bit off. So he probably caught him, and he's probably going to drop this guy. All right. Again, look at the amazing athleticism of both fighters. It's really amazing. The angles they're cutting to try and come at each other. So I very briefly just trying to get you to understand. Here it says Harris lands a right uppercut, so you can see he landed a right uppercut on this guy. He's actually falling away based on that uppercut. He probably ran into the uppercut, didn't see it. There's a lot to boxing. There's a lot to learn in boxing, because I'm talking about sweeping, superficial stuff. When you start to get into more detail on just all the particulars of what I just said, it gets quite in depth. Okay, so you guys have a great day, and as well as I was saying, just trying to touch on movement here in this video.